when I can't go back, I can't start anything, so it's just going to be a bit rubbish. So I'll go back. Hello and welcome back to the Non-League podcast with myself, Leigh Simonds. And today we've got a special guest with me. We've got a returning guest. We've got Sean Button with me today. And actually we're going live on Sean Button's YouTube channel as well. Sean, hello sir, welcome back to the channel.
Hello mate, thank you. Thanks again for having me back on. How's things been?
Yeah, it's been quite hectic really. Been doing bits and pieces at the business at Jimmy's Farm. Been doing some building work up there and some gardening still at home and doing bits and pieces for the kids as well, which is quite interesting. Of course, going back to work, which is interesting to say the least, and getting back into the routine again.
Yeah, cool. So we can call you Leigh Simonds Green Fingers then.
I doubt it. No. We'll leave that out, Sean. We can't leave that out.
Okay, so you just want to talk football then, do you?
Well, yeah, or horse racing if you want to do that as well.
I wouldn't know where to start on the horse racing, mate. I'm afraid.
Well, I didn't know because I didn't know what Godolphin was until I started there about 10 years ago. Now I know.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, I'm at the Godolphin, but of course they've been having the Royal Ascot on this week, so it's just started today. So that's going to be quite interesting as well. But this is what we're here for, Sean, and we're here for the non-league football show, really, because it's been quite interesting in the last couple of weeks, days even, especially with Norwich United, Leicester as well, Bedford, you got people like that going places, even Norton Athletic, AC Mill Lane, especially with the people who've been on the podcast so far and really enjoyed talking to them, which is great, isn't it?
Yes, mate. Yeah, it is, to be fair, and you could say it's been a mad a few days, really, to be honest, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely, especially with Norwich United, two strike force. We're part of the three strike force with Barnes and Jackson moving across to Leicester, which is going to be a bit of a test for both of them too, but hopefully they'll come up with flying colours. Hopefully.
Yeah, no, I think Finley and Liam will be fine over at Leicester. Really, I think it's probably right for them. To be fair, I think they deserve it as well.
Yeah.
Taking nothing away, I mean, they were fantastic servants for Norwich United. They're always a pleasure to speak to when I was there filming. Graham Barnes, Finley's dad and mum, that always had time to come speak to me, or they'd even come and find me sometimes and have a chat. So no, to be fair, I think best of luck to the boys. And really, I was shocked to hear when Cedric resigned, really, because I didn't hear nothing about it or anything really until I saw it on social media. I mean, it completely, it was one of those where I had to read the tweet sort of 3 or 4 times to see if I saw it correct, and then I had a message or two come through that the boys potentially weren't going to stay in bits and pieces, and I thought, oh, Jesus Christ, what the hell's happening, really? But as we know in football, mate, things move on.
They definitely do. I just couldn't believe it myself, especially when I was reading it. I thought, well, my God, Cedric only a few weeks ago was talking to me about Norwich United and actually staying at the club, and we saw that the last few days, and he's gone. But of course, they've got a new manager coming already. A guy from this town, I think it is. Is that correct, Sean?
Yes, mate. Yes, Steve Eastoe. Yeah, to be fair, he only literally kind of just signed for this, I think, from memory.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I think the fact of him leaving so soon caused a few shockwaves throughout South Norfolk, I think, with this. Yeah,
it's one of those, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I know it was a long time ago, but when I was 11 years old and I saw Dis win the FA Vase, and Brewers Green Lane was always 75% full.
Yeah.
They were always giving the teams like Wroxham a go for their money back then and bits and pieces. And I know it was it's quite some time ago, but it's quite sad to see where the club is really, and there's things being thrown around on social media as to who, what, why, and when. But to be fair, that's not really my sort of. I'm not really interested in that. That's not my business. And
No.
what it needs is someone now to come in there with this town in their heart, really. I think, and to try and get the club back to where they were. I mean, Ramsden has just left Norwich United as well, who was Cedric's number 2, and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, today.
I think,
was it today?
Yeah, I mean, think people like him. When you're with someone like Cedric and on the sideline, I can't see it being a bad thing, really. If you know what I mean, but there's plenty of other people around in my area that are being thrown around in the hat, so to speak. But I think the one thing in Dis's favour is obviously we still can't we can't play football just yet.
Not yet, no.
So I think in Dis's favour, I think they've got a little bit of time in their hands to I think to get it right this time. Really, unfortunately, I think for the club, I think that's going to be a big move for whoever that they appoint, mate. To be honest with you.
Yeah, definitely. Because I went to this town when Thetford played there last season in a pre-season friendly. I thought it was quite a nice ground. It's kind of like an old-fashioned ground, isn't it? Really, because they've got the history for the club. I think, to be honest, I think they want to be in the third and Premier Division. I know they're in the is it the North?
Yes, yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, to be fair, mate, I mean, you've sort of hit the nail on the head, and I mean, well, I'll be happy to say it, because basically the ground really hasn't, this town is, it hasn't really moved on. Everyone else has moved on and things have sort of evolved a bit, but just bless them, they've sort of stuck to what they know, and unfortunately football's moved on and just have fallen behind, unfortunately. But I mean, the positives are they've got a very, very good under 18 setup down there. I know Racy, who's part of the management team down there, who plays for Long Stratton. Every time I filmed this under 18s, 9 times out of 10, they were going to get the 3 points. To be fair, so no, I mean, Dis have got plenty of decent youngsters. They've definitely got 1 or 2 who can definitely keep competition for places going. But the thing in Dis's favour, to be fair, put all the politics, all the rubbish to one side, is they've got a very good foundation of under 18s, and they've got a bit of time on their side now to get the right person. And you'd just have to wait and see, mate, who that is and when that is, really.
Because that's what they need, isn't it? They need a foundation to start with, don't they? It's like in any club, isn't it? They need to have a stable team, especially with the youngsters. Okay, you can have these good players or even better players in the non-league side, but you need to have the youngsters bred through, because that's the core of the football team, isn't it? That's what they want to do. They want to progress at this town, don't they? Even to bring in that experienced manager, even Cedric maybe, he may be interested in it. I don't know, but there's always other people. Even Danny White, he might be interested. I think he's still going to be playing for Norwich CBS next season in the North League, but he might be interested because he did play for the club a few years ago, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, that's I'd say a fairly decent shout, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's. I mean, when you say someone like Cedric, I mean, well, what a headline that would be for the club. I mean, I can't really see it personally, but that would be something, really, wouldn't it, to see him down at Brewers Green Lane?
Yeah, definitely. Because he done quite well with the two of Barnes and Jackson. Of course, he brought in he tried to improve every single player who played for Norwich United. But I think he may fit the bill really at this town, because that's especially with the under 18s. Bring them up. You know, you just don't know. Even bring out in the choice of the Norwich City Academy. You just don't know, do you?
No, exactly. Well, you know, and like I say, to be fair to Dis, you know, even when the lads last year who were in charge of the reserve team, you know, they put a lot of hard work, sweat and tears into the reserve team. They done extremely well. Really, you know, considering, you know, they came from nothing and to where they got. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, they've had some people there lately who have tried to put the foundations from sand into concrete, and they just need the people who wear the shirts and ties at this town to make sure they put the bricks on top of the cement and not, basically.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I hope this town will get it right in the end, and then I wish them all the best, really.
Well, I do too, mate. I do too. You know, like I say, I was with this under 18s many years ago when I didn't have any grey hair back then. You know, I remember I used to go training on a Saturday morning. It was like £2 for a 2-hour session, and Jason Carter was one player who took the session, and Paul Warren was the other player who I'm sure you're aware, who is now in charge in League One with Rotherham.
There you go, isn't it?
You know, so
there you go, isn't it?
Yeah, so yeah, no, I like I say, they've got the history. They've had some lads who have tried to put the foundations down, and unless we just need to hope for the club, really, that the hierarchy follows suit now, really, to be honest.
Exactly, Sean. So what else has been catching your eye recently then, Sean?
Where do you want me to start?
From the beginning.
Right, well, okay. Well, I must admit, I have made a very long list today of just random bits and pieces that I thought would sort of keep you and everybody else interested. Unfortunately, the one thing I do want to touch on before we get really into it today, on behalf of Brandon Town today, unfortunately, between 10:30 to 12 p.m. ish, they have had a generator and all the pipes stolen from the water supply.
Really?
Yeah, that like I said, I don't know too much more about it, but I saw that the lads put it out on social media, and it was like it spread like hot fire. But basically, Brandon Town, I'm sure you've seen as well. The volunteers over the last few weeks have put a lot of hard work into getting the pitch renovated and dim bits and pieces.
I've seen it. They've done a hell of a job.
Yeah, and today to have the water generator and all the pipes stolen is just beggars belief, mate. Really.
It's kind of like a kick in the teeth, really, isn't it? Really? Because they've done so much hard work, especially in the Anglican Combination League. You know, the Premier Division. You know, it's sad to see, but you know, what can anyone do? Hopefully, if anyone know about it, they can get these people arrested and hopefully get their equipment back.
Yeah, and I'm sure if any of our listeners and followers hear anything, they can get in touch with the club direct and pass any information on. But the good news is that I believe a local business has lent a generator to the club to carry on getting the pitch watered, basically. So I think they're back. I think they're back up and running. But yeah, it's besides the point, personally. Really, I think, mate. To be honest with you,
definitely. Hopefully, as I say, they can catch the people who've done it and then go from there. Really, but for that company who've donated machinery for them, good on them. So hopefully they can carry on with the good work which they've been doing so far.
Yeah, and hopefully, mate, like I say, once the football season kicks off, you never know. You may be down there with your camera and you can actually tell me what the ground is like now.
Exactly. It's not that far away from Fairfield, I don't think. So hopefully, if I get a free weekend or something, hopefully I can pop down there and speak to the guys in charge, which will be good.
I was going to say, mate, you are a lot closer to Brandon than I am. So.
Yes, definitely.
But no, I must admit, I do get some random offers sometimes on social media to come and film a game. It's it's a little bit interesting, but that's besides the point.
That's what you want, though, isn't it, Sean? That's what you want.
Well, they do say that football is a business.
Yeah, it certainly is. So what else has caught your eye then, Sean?
Okay, well, back on to let's talk some more good news, mate. Shall we?
Let's go for it.
Let's talk about Long Melford.
Okay, yes.
I believe they've been given the green light for a brand new home for next season or the season after, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got a new facility being built. I think it was £730,000, which is incredible. You know, the state of the art, community hub. Really, it looks fantastic. Really, well done to the boys and girls up at Long Melford, especially with the reserve team manager and the team manager Jamie and of course David. I hope they do well next season as well. So hopefully I can pop down and speak to them, or they can come here and at Deptford, and hopefully I can have a good chat with them, which will be good.
I was going to say, mate, is it a ground you're familiar with or not?
It's one which is on my hit list, which I need to go to. But they came here a couple of years ago, last season. Sorry, the season before, when we went into the cup final.
Yep.
And they beat us 3-1, and they had to win that game to stay up.
Okay.
So, and of course, I think they were in a final as well themselves in the Challenge Cup, and they actually won that in 2019, which is incredible. Of course, now they've got the green light. I think work is going to start kind of straight away, really, which is going to be brilliant. Hopefully, for the next season, after this season, of course, it should be ready, hopefully.
Cool. Well, to be fair, mate, well, speaking about new homes, it's like Long Stratton as well. I've got a very nice new village hall. That's the sort of thing that's just a community that's just been built with.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so hopefully, you know, like I say, the lads can start playing football and can open the doors. And look, I think that's been long overdue, mate. Really, because the old pavilion was literally. Old.
It's like when I remember playing, it was like an old shack down in Ipswich. It's like that was very cool. They didn't have any heating in at all. But now I think some of these clubs and players, I think they're quite lucky, really. I think now, especially with Long Melford, Long Stratton, these players are going to be treated quite well, I think.
Yeah, and to be fair, again, going back to when I was playing, when I tried to play anyway.
I can say the same.
I actually remember this ground really well. It was a cold winter's day, and the fog hadn't really lifted either, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and with all respect to the club, I was playing for Harleston, and we went to Spexall.
Right, okay.
Which is in between Bungay and Halesworth for easy geography. And the changing room back then was literally a shed that's been left to rot with no floor. You know, it was when it was a cold, wet day. The one place you want was a bit of heat and a bit of shelter, but that was one of those, mate. Really. So yeah, the footballers now have got a bit of a life of luxury. These new clubhouses being built.
Yeah, definitely. But it's all the good thing about the grassroots football. It's all good, isn't it? This is what we want for the local teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I say, I've seen on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else that clubs are getting grants to improve the pitches in the lower leagues now from the FA, you know, and things like that. So no, it's definitely moved on a lot more since, well, when I was playing, for certain, mate. Really.
Yeah, me too. Especially when it's like 10 years ago, you know, it's like, oh, well, never mind. You just have to crack on and just do what we enjoy, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah.
To yourself about podcasts and doing highlights and everything else, which is good to see, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like I said, there was never nothing like this when I was playing. You know, there was never a nice warm clubhouse. There was never a podcast. There was never a camera. You know, there was never nothing like that before. Once when I was playing.
No. So it's all changed, which is good to see. It's like, as I said before, Sean, on our last podcast, and to the people who've on the show recently, it's like it's all happening for a reason. It's all good stuff. I know you get the odd 10, 20%, which is negative, which you're going to get, but all in all, it's all positive, which is what we want to see.
Well, yeah, I mean, speaking of positive as well, and sort of coming up to my neck of the woods, if we sort of swing into the Norwich area, mate. I've seen today as well that, where is it? Thorpe St Andrew women and girls team have been accepted into the Eastern League once again.
Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. So full of praise for them.
Well done to them.
Yeah, and like most teams, unfortunately, they are on the lookout for players. So if there are any ladies out there who wish to play for Thorpe St Andrew, they would probably snap your hand off, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely.
What else have we got? Yeah, I think it's worth also giving Galston ladies a shout out, mate, as well, to be honest. To be fair, it's quite a bit of a story to this one. Really. When I was getting about on social media what I was doing, I'm sure you'll know the name and the gentleman, but a Mr. Alan Gordon sent me a message and asked me to come down to Emerald Park and film a game. And he said, when you come to the gate, Sean, tell him you're my guest and everything else. And him, bless his soul, was who got me into Galston, basically. But having said that, Alan Gordon also helped get the ladies' team, what I understand, I mean, I'm happy to be corrected on that, up and running and established and going, basically. Galston ladies are now in their 6th season. However, I'm told it wouldn't have been possible without Alan Gordon's commitment and input, basically.
Yeah, well, that's brilliant news, you know, especially for a club like Galston, having a ladies' team down for 6 years. That's incredible.
Absolutely, and I'm full of respect and admiration for Sophie, the manager down there. Bless her. Would you believe Sophie has been at the club since she was 7 years old?
Really?
Yeah.
7 years old?
Since she was 7, she's had some form of input with Galston. However, I won't reveal a lady's age to you. But
we'll just stick into that.
Absolutely, but no, Sophie, bless her, she's been down there since she was 7 years old, and they've now got Galston ladies in the league again for the 6th season in a row. So I think that's absolutely fantastic and huge for ladies football in that sort of area, mate. Really.
Well, definitely, especially when you've got like big teams around that area as well. So hats off to Sophie as well. I know she's agreed to come on the podcast shortly. We just have to get a date for her to come on, but that'd be a good story to have. Especially what she's doing with the younger kids as well. She's trying to coach them and get the Galston way, their way of playing football the right way, the attitude, positivity. Everything. That's what Sophie does. I think we should really hats off to her.
No, absolutely, mate. I couldn't agree more. And like you say, it's not just the ladies. Like you say, it's all the youth side of stuff she helps out with and coach. I mean, absolutely it's absolutely fantastic. And I think it's only right that we highlight what's going on at the club. Really, I think.
Well, I think they're in the right direction. I know they're going to get a new stadium shortly. I know they're still at the Emerald Park at the moment, but it's going in the right direction because they've got Scott and they've got Rick at the first team. They've got the reserves on board. The under 18s and the ladies team as well. They're going to be playing the Galston way, which is going to be good to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wish them all the best for next season. Apart from when they come down to Thetford, you got to say that.
So would you say, mate, you wish everybody the best until they walk through Thetford's gates, yeah?
That's it, yeah. So that'll probably beat me as well, but hi guys,
So basically, all they got to do is look for a man with a video camera and then go have a word with him, yeah?
Well, a nice phone or just always have the grey hair and the beard. You can't miss me.
I was going to say, you sound like you're describing me, mate, to be fair, but oh dear. Where else are we? I think I was also speaking about the manager merry-go-round, mate.
Yeah, go on.
With Ross Potter and John Fowler leaving Norwich Seams.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, again, two great lads, two very, full of football knowledge. They were really pushing at that top of that league until coronavirus hit.
Yes. Yeah.
And the team was easily one of the most organised that I was filming, really.
Yeah.
And I
remember when they. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say I was just I was a bit surprised to see the names departing, really, but
exactly. But it's like when I went to watch the teams against Montford. I think it was probably a month before the coronavirus hit.
Yep.
I just thought that both teams played really well. It was end to end. It's really good stuff. I think there was about 50 people watching the game. It was free, which is really good at that level. The Anglo Combination Premier Division, they've done really well in the cup games, in the league games against Montford. It's a really strong outfit for both of them, even with Seams as well, which is good to see, isn't it?
Well, yeah, absolutely, and especially so close on Norwich City's doorstep, really.
Yeah.
When you think how many teams are in that city now, and the players they managed to attract and who they had play for them, and how they were, like you say, and how they were pushing at the top of the Prem. I think Mr. Fowler, Mr. Potter can hold their heads high for definite, mate. I think really.
Yeah, I was trying to get out of Mr. Fowler where he was actually going, but he wouldn't tell me until the very last minute when it was announced. So but fair play to Mr. Fowler. He kept his head, and then of course it's been announced, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and like I said with John Fowler, is it Braddon Wanderers he's gone to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I say, absolute best of luck to him, really, and I'm sure, if obviously time allows and permits, I'm sure you'll try and get up there. I'll try and get up there as well and see what all the fuss is about, and see what his new team has got to offer, really.
Definitely. Well, hopefully it's going to be a good season for every team, really, in our leagues, really.
Yeah, I mean, I saw on one of the tweets. I think it was a tweet. How they've been turning a few heads with some of their signings.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you who they are. Like I say, I just saw that briefly before I came on and spoke to you. And yeah, like I say, best of luck to him, really.
Yeah, definitely. Which will be good to. It would be good to see what signings they're going to bring in. Of course, that the Premier Division is going to be very strong next season as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think it would have been very interesting to see. Obviously, obviously before the coronavirus hit, I think you could also say, for example, would Norwich United and Dis be in a situation they're in if the season hadn't finished how it did?
Exactly.
If Norwich, if Cedric, and the coronavirus didn't hit and he got them up and bits and pieces, and with Jackson and Barnes and everything else, you can't help wonder what could have been, really.
Especially when you're missing that diamond up with Ben Stokes, because he played a blinding season as well, because he was on a roll as well. So yeah, all three of them were pushing for those high stats at the end of the season.
Yeah, and I think he came very close in a couple of polls the club did for end of season awards and stuff. So I don't think he was very far behind the Barnes and Jackson, really.
Yeah, he was up there with the two of them. So yeah, credit to him as well, and of course for the whole team as well. They played really well last season, definitely. So what else has taken your fancy then, Sean? What else has turned your head?
What else? Oh, Jesus Christ, man! There's been loads going on in there. It's like Christmas, really.
Which is good. That's what we're going to talk about.
Well, as long as you haven't got to be in bed by 9 o'clock, mate, we'll be all right.
You can carry on.
I think, like you say, we'll give AC Milan. Bloody hell. AC. Oh, it's been a long day. AC Milan. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I've noticed that they've managed to keep their front men from last season.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and if memory serves me correct, I think it was 121 goals or something between them both, I think.
That's cracking, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think...
I was going to say, I was speaking to Pete as well the other day, and the record what they got, and of course with the coronavirus hitting, it's a bit of a shame that it ended quite soon, really, because you never know, they could have pushed on. I think they were third, with like a game in hand, a couple of points as well, which is good to see, but especially with those two strike forces now teaming up for next season, over 120 odd goals. So, hats off to them.
Yeah, speaking of keeping a lot of front men and players, I also noticed that Achill United have also managed to keep hold of a few of their key players as well, which, being on Norwich United's doorstep as well, to give you an idea on geography again, that's, obviously the management are doing something right there as well, really.
And that's what you want, isn't it? You want to keep your best players at your club.
Well, speaking about best players at your club and bits and pieces, if we talk about a family club now, mate, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, go for it.
Norton Athletic.
Yes,
they are one of the most biggest family clubs I can probably think of, and I've filmed before the season came to an abrupt end.
Right, yes.
One of the things that stand out with Norton Athletic for me, and what Paul's done down there and the rest of the staff and volunteers, is everybody is in it together. There is no individuals down there. There is no ego down there. There is none of that sort of rubbish down there. It is really a real tight-knit family club, and it's a very close club as well. I mean, to give you an idea, the club managed to hold their 100th AGM. I think it was this week or end of last week.
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah, And to be fair to Paul and Danny, they've taken on the first team again for the coming season, whatever that is. Chris Smith has taken the reserves. Scott Yarham is taking the Vets first team. Kev Bryers has taken the Vets reserve team. And Ben Bertram has taken the Sunday team. Now, the one thing out of all that little list there, mate, how often do you hear that a village club has a Vets team, let alone a reserve Vets team?
That's incredible, isn't it?
You know, I mean, to have them sort of teams from a little village in the middle of Loddon, where where there's not really much happening over there. That is really really something, really. So when I saw they had a Vets reserve team, I was like, I was really like, bloody hell, they are really going in the right direction, really.
Definitely, especially when they're actually going to be on the podcast in a couple of weeks, which is going to be great. I think there's about 4 or 5 of which is going to be joining me on the podcast, which is going to be good. So I can't wait to talk to them about the club and where they're going to go.
I am sure the boys will be gentle with you, mate. Don't worry.
Definitely. But that'd be an interesting one to do, especially with Paul and his assistants and everyone at the club. That'd be a good listen to for everyone else who's actually listening to the podcast at the moment, which is going to be good.
Yeah, like I say, I look forward to hearing what goes on, mate. As always, really.
Yeah, definitely. So, what else has been on your agenda? What has been on your list?
Well, if we just go back down the A, I'm not very organised, am I? If we go down the A140 again, back down to Codnham Athletic, it was really refreshing to see on Twitter today some people putting in the hard work for the players and everybody else on sorting the goal mouths out.
Yes.
When I used to play football and I tried to play in goal, some of the goal mouths I played in were absolutely horrendous.
Yes, I can agree with that.
But to see the volunteers of these clubs putting in the time and effort to get it done properly and to make it look as good as possible, I think it's only right that we speak about Codnham and basically, highlight their good work, like many of the other clubs that are doing some groundwork at the moment, which I think is really refreshing to see, mate. Really.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we want, isn't it? Especially with the volunteers and without the volunteers for any club, where would we be? We wouldn't even be talking on this podcast. We wouldn't be doing highlights. We wouldn't be doing anything really. It's all about the volunteers and people with that family commitment, really, for everyone connected to the grassroots football, which is great.
Well, to be fair, mate, it's a bit of a if you sort of look into it quite deeply, it's a bit of a domino effect, isn't it? Like you say, it's them people who get the games on in the first place by the nets up and the white lines on the grass, that sort of stuff, and then the players turn up, and then people like me and you turn up. And then things like this show happen, and then people listen into what you're doing on your podcast and bits and pieces, and people watch videos on YouTube now. If it wasn't for them, it wouldn't simply happen at the top end here, basically.
Definitely, because there's many people out there. You've got, especially in the 309 Premier Division, you've got Woodbridge, you've got Stowmarket. These teams are coming up with their own YouTube channels. They've got photographers out there. They're doing their own bits and pieces in the local newspaper, which is really good to see. You've got James as well, Sterling, who does the non-league North.
Yep.
So credit to him, because this is where it all started off. Because I think James is one of the reasons why non-league football, especially in our area, has taken off really well.
Yeah, and I would also, I'd agree with that as well, really. And to be fair, his content is of the highest order, personally, I think, as well, really.
Yeah, definitely. If it wasn't for him going to the SIL, the leagues down in like the Suffolk area, fortunately, I'm not down there anymore because I would have gone to Claydon. That's where I was living before.
Okay.
you got some really good teams down there. You got Henley as well, Achilles. The list is incredible. You've got Crane Sports as well, with the guy doing the YouTube channels down there as well. I watched the season review. Anyone wants to go and watch that, go for it, because that's really good to watch as well. Really good.
Cool. Well, speaking about down in the Ipswich part of the area for the time being, Taverners are after friendlies I saw on social media as well. So there are I don't know. There's been a lot of mixed. There've been some interesting views, mate, lately on Twitter and Facebook. About teams starting training. What's the point? You can't sign players till July the 1st. You can't play games yet, and people are trying to organise friendlies. There's a lot of positivity, and there's a lot of, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it really, but there's been a lot of mixed feelings really of what's going on really.
Yeah, it seems when I've been talking to the other people on the podcast, they just want to have that green light. I know they can train, or is it like one coach and 5 or 6 players? It's of course doing social distancing, but in a way, I think it's a good way to have the team coming back in stages, because I know it's a difficult time at the moment. I know players and managers and of course the clubs want to come in and do what's right, but this is like the time anyway. If we go back to like last season, this is the time where the teams are starting to think about doing the pre-season, doing the friendlies anyway, even signing the players, the managements as well. So it's all that process. But if it starts in July, great. If it starts in August, great. If it starts in September or even October, fine. But these players still have to train. I personally think it's a good thing, but this is now the new normal, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
But that's my opinion. I think probably other people will have their own opinions, but that's just my opinion on the matter. But I think it's a good thing, personally.
Well, if anyone, like I say, if anyone's got an opinion on it, I think I would love to hear a podcast one day. You do with them one day about it, mate. I think that'd be worth a listen, really.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we'll try to set something up, because there's been a few interesting parties which I'm just trying to get ties up in, like with managers and other bits and pieces in a 09 and stuff like that. So that'd be quite good. So I look forward to speaking to those people shortly.
Cool, excellent.
So what else is there taking your fancy? What else has caught your eye, Sean?
Well, speaking of, if we just touch back on the ladies again, really briefly and quickly. Wyndham Town Ladies Reserves are after a manager. If you fancy it, I don't know if you fancy it, do you? Being the next Phil Neville of England, do you?
I wouldn't rule it out.
So yeah, like I say, I thought it was only fair, because like I say, they also put a lot of hard work into stuff behind the scenes. I saw they're after a ladies reserve manager, and I'm sure if we can give them a helping hand, then that just is all the better.
Go with the ladies team. I think because I've been talking to Ben Binder, the Norwich City new ladies reserves team manager. Yeah, full credit to them. I think the ladies game is getting better and better personally, especially when you got Ipswich and Norwich. Niedermarket as well, with Freya down there. She's doing a hell of a job down there at Niedermarket. Even you can think about Thetford as well, Galston as well. These teams, they need the local support. They need the local ladies coming down there. Actually, just try to play football. Not try to play football, but try and just enjoy it. At the end of the day, these teams are out there who will help you out.
Well, it's funny. It's good to see. It's funny you say about the ladies teams, mate, because I was with the ladies. All the teams I've watched, the attitude has been fantastic. For example, I filmed Becclesstown ladies quite a few times. And with all respect, there's been a few teams they've comfortably beat, shall we say? But when the teams have gone behind and everything else, there is never any bickering or any arguing.
No.
They are so organised and disciplined. It has been really, really refreshing to see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I do agree with it. I think the ladies' game in this area anyway is getting better and better anyway. You know, as I say, Ipswich, Norwich. You know, as I say, the Needhams, Gorstons. You know, you got Thetford around here. Of course, every team are looking for players, you know, managers, and everything. But no, I think it's on the up. So, you know, good credit to the girls and the boys down there for the ladies' football, which is really good to see.
Well, speaking about community and obviously how things are run, Bungay Town, men's and ladies and vets, the whole lot. I saw today. Every summer they hold a very, very popular five-a-side tournament at Malton's Meadow. Obviously, like every other event at the moment, that has been cancelled for this year. And they've also, you know, offering a full refund to those teams that have entered as well, which yeah, exactly. I mean, there's some things you see like that. It's sort of, you know, so much deposit and non-return, you know, that sort of stuff. But no, Bungay Town, I think it was the ladies' Twitter account put out. I stand to be corrected, but I'm fairly sure they said they're offering a refund for anyone who's entered it, and it will be going ahead for next year. So yeah, fair play to them, mate. Really.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, the ladies' game is getting better and better. That's which is good. Hopefully, more and more people who are listening to this or see me on, you know, at the games or anything, come talk to me. Hopefully we might get a deal to do it. Hopefully, get some more exposure to the game for them, which is going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, well, if anyone comes up to me and says, "Who's that dodgy bloke, Leigh Simonds, you keep talking to?" I can always point them in your direction as well, and everything else. Speaking of your friends, I see that Shrublands are back in training as well. Speaking of that training,
there you go, Shrublands. There you go.
I knew you'd. I kept them till last. Well, virtually last. I knew you'd like that. And I thought, bloody hell! I bet Leigh will be really pleased. But the old Shrubland boys are back in training and bits and pieces.
Definitely, yeah. Well, he did mention on the podcast that they were thinking about getting back to training, which is good. Even affected. We're thinking about getting back to training, but you know, it's still in that meeting stage at the moment. Like I say, with Shrublands and affected, which is good to see. I like to see people going back into training, which is good. Yeah,
well, I think it's also. Well, I think we all aware of it, aren't we? But I think it's also the social aspect as well, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But
it's all about safety first. At the end of the day, if it's safe to do so, fair play to them.
Well, do you know what? I know we keep talking about them, and I'm not on no commission, by the way. But
sure.
But with Norton, I saw they're back in training as well, but they're doing sort of like split sessions with the lads.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they've got some that I think I stand to be corrected. I think they've got some that are training who live nearer Norwich, and some on another day for the ones that live closer to the ground. So yeah, it seems Paul and the management team have sort of got it very, very well organised and are trained, and then to social distance as well.
Well, that's the main thing, isn't it? You know, if they've got the plan in place, they've got the safety in place, brilliant. Let's go for it. That's the main thing. So, sure. What else have we got here? What's caught your eye?
Well, last but by no means least,
right?
My good friends, and I know they're good friends of yours as well. Great Yarmouth Town.
Of course, yes.
Yep, I've seen that Cameron, Thomas, and Josh have all signed for the club again. So there's some big characters there. So yeah, I'm sure Rob is going to be very pleased. And yeah, I've just got to get used to the management change around, you know, because the under-18s manager, he's now, I think, the reserve manager, and oh bloody hell, they've changed it all around. I've got to work out who's who again now.
It will come in time. It will come in time, sure. Definitely.
Absolutely. But I think for me, mate, just to finish on a note from my side of things, thank God the Premier League is back tomorrow, hey?
Well, is it about Premier League or is it about non-league? I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. I like it to be back, which is good. Premier League is back for tomorrow. I think it's 4:30, is it, for the first game?
Yeah, something like that, isn't it? I know we've got lots of Norwich fans and Ipswich fans on this side of the world and everything else. I think there's more Norwich, I think. And I know we've got
I think so, yeah.
a couple of Man United fans that are looking forward to the start of the season and everything, the restart of the season, everything else, and bits and pieces. But like you say, mate, it would just be nice just to get back out there in the non-league world and see everybody else again, and just try and get back to, well, I say normal, but you know, just get back to a bit of normality, mate. Really.
Definitely. But what about the transfers already in the 309? Do you think there's been some surprise packages so far, especially with Mr. Kavanagh going to from Stanley Rovers to Newmarket Town, which is a great sign of the Newmarket.
Do you know what? You say that. I filmed, you say about Stanway. I filmed Wroxham against Stanway. I think it was literally one of the last games I filmed before coronavirus hit.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
Yeah, and Stanway's physical approach and how they sort of bullied Wroxham at times. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, every time Grant Holt was with the ball, he had 3 players around him, and they were winding him up and tugging at his shirt and bits and pieces. But Stanway's physical approach was one of the best I've seen in the league. And obviously the league didn't lie. Obviously where they were near the very top.
I think they were finishing third because it was Stonemarket, Norwich United, then it was Stanway Rovers, I think.
Yeah, but to be fair, the league was well gone, wasn't it? Really.
Yes, it was. Like we say, it's unfortunate for Stonemarket, really. I still think they should have gone up, really, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, but no, it's like I say, Stanway. You know, I've been very impressed with them. I've seen them a few times. Very impressed.
Yeah.
And you have to be top of your game to at least try and get a point from them if they're on their game. They're a very, very difficult team to break down, to say the least, really. But no, that's obviously a big signing. You know, to be fair, and obviously full credit to them for managing to capture it, really.
Yeah, definitely. John's been incredible, especially when he was at Stonemarket, of course, Thetford as well, and then he moved to Stanway Rovers. I thought he'd had a really good season, really, and of course, good luck to him at Newmarket Town, hopefully. So, which will be good for him and for Michael, the manager, as well. So, credit to him.
Absolutely. I think, am I right in saying that Leiston, Needham, and Lowestoft are all in the same league, or am I thinking different?
Yeah, I think they are.
I think, yeah. I mean,
that's the same league.
Because that's going to be very, very tasty when that gets going again.
Definitely, especially when some of the clubs have to go all the way to Birmingham for a away match. It's going to be 3 hours, 6 hours travelling time, which is going to be quite tough for these young players.
Yeah.
Especially with Leiston. I know they've got the new manager up there with Darren Eady and Chris Wiggins, I think it is. But especially with Jackson and Barnes being signed for them. But they have lost some experienced players as well. You know, Byron Lawrence has actually gone to Needham Market, so good big scoop for them, really. And yeah, it's going to be quite interesting, really interesting.
Yeah, I guess that's a nice little rival team to go to, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, especially say Lowestoft as well, which will be good. I'm not sure what Derren Town League is, because they did play Needham last season, but I'm not sure if they're in that league or not. But that'd be quite interesting if they are in that league as well.
I'm trying to think. I'm not sure. I'm not sure now. To be fair, like I say, I'm not too sure, mate. To be honest with you,
I'll probably completely wrong. Someone might tell me in the comments or tweet me after the podcast. But we'll see what happens with that one.
Mate, that is the beauty of doing these things. There's always somebody ready to shoot you down and correct you, isn't there?
It's fine. I don't mind opinions, which is the best thing about this podcast. You know, this is what we do it for.
Yeah, constructive criticism is wonderful in hindsight, isn't it?
Definitely. But what else has caught your eye then, Sean?
Well, to be honest, mate, I think, you know, like I say, we're finishing on Great Yarmouth, but I see the big news if we go west of the region, and if like I say, on the last on my list, it is extremely likely now for Kings Lynn to be promoted by the end of the week, all being well.
Yeah, especially when I spoke to Rory McCauley, Chris Henderson, and then Michael Gash. Now, personally, they were the underdogs for any league, really, and I have got my fingers crossed for them to get a promotion. I'm hoping they get promotion because they have done such an incredible job down at the walks. You know, it's been great. It's been great to see it on the YouTube channel. It's been good to speak to Bevan, who does all the YouTube stuff as well, and of course to the players as well, especially with Chris, Rory, and Michael. It was great to talk to all of them.
Yeah, and to be fair, that's another very well run club as well. To be fair, isn't it, from top to bottom?
Definitely, the chairman's got it spot on. Bringing him back, Ian Cohenhouse as the manager, he's done wonders for the club. You know, hopefully that Anna Merritt will stay for the club. Hopefully, if they get promotion, but I know there are clubs sitting around him, hopefully to get his signature. But hopefully, he will stay at the club.
Well, I stand to be corrected as well. But if Kings Lynn were to be promoted by the end of the week, that would put them 2 leagues below League 2, wouldn't it?
Yes, it will.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They'll be in the Conference Premier.
That's it.
So then, if they win that one, they'll get into League 2.
Oh well, at least well, on my YouTube channel, there's a Ipswich Town flag in the background. So at least I've got a local derby coming up in a few years' time.
We have, haven't we?
Yeah, it's looking promising. Come on, Kings Lynn.
But all the credit to Kings Lynn. They've been absolutely outstanding, especially when they got the tents of 4,000 people to go and watch the first against second teams. When York City come calling, they won 1-0. Adam Merritt scored the winner. That's just incredible. I did speak to Rory and Chris and Michael about that, and they just said it was incredible. The whole experience for them has been incredible, which is good to see. Yeah,
absolutely. Like I say, it was really good to see on Twitter today. Well, a couple of days ago, whenever it was, that when it was released, that I think it's going to a vote, and if the vote stands, and like I say, Kings Lynn will be going up. So fingers crossed, and obviously, I think all eyes will be on them, really, mate. Really.
Oh, definitely, especially after those 2 playoff finals last season. Just to get into that league, what they're in now, that's incredible. Especially when I spoke to Michael about that goal, what he scored right in the extra time, right in the last few minutes. You know, incredible scenes for them. But hopefully they'll do it, which is everyone's dream, really. Especially when you're looking down, especially at the Anglo combination. That's where they want to be, isn't it? That's what they want to do. They want to be the next Kings Lynn Town, don't they?
Yep.
But yeah, so I think we're going to leave that there, Sean. pleasure again for joining me on the podcast. I hope the people watching live and listening to this back on the podcast, hope you enjoyed the show. As I say, Sean, thanks for joining me.
No, you're welcome, my friend, and look forward to the next one.
Definitely, probably in about a month's time, yeah?
I'll get my agent to book you in.
Oh, is it my agent or your agent?
I am the agent.
Exactly, there you go. But for people who listen, as I say, people who listen, I hope you enjoyed the show. If you've got any comments, please DM me or please DM Sean. Hopefully I'll speak to you on the next one. But for now, see you later. Bye-bye now.